The Subtle Shifts Within. Chapter 1. Recognizing Subtle Shifts Within. You're not always going to notice these subtle shifts within yourself, but they're often the most important changes you'll experience. These are not your grand epiphanies or dramatic revelations. Rather, they're slow, almost imperceptible alterations in your behaviors, thoughts, and emotions. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as microchanges. These microchanges can be influenced by numerous factors, from environmental stimuli to personal experiences. Perhaps you've started meditating daily and now find yourself reacting more calmly in stressful situations. Or maybe you've been reading a lot lately and notice an improvement in your vocabulary. It's crucial to pay attention to these small shifts because they shape who we become over time. According to a research study that appeared in the Journal of Applied Psychology, people who were aware of their microchanges performed better at work over time than those who were not. However, recognizing these changes isn't always easy. It requires self-awareness and introspection, skills that can be honed with practice. Tools such as journaling or mindfulness meditation can help cultivate this awareness. Remember, every transformation starts small. Each moment is an opportunity for growth, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. As Carl Rogers, a renowned psychologist, once stated, "The good life is a process, not a state of being." Your journey towards understanding yourself better may seem daunting, but remember that each step counts, no matter how tiny it may seem right now. Chapter 2. The Power of Small Changes. Don't underestimate the power of small changes to improve your overall well-being. You may think that only grand gestures or massive life alterations are the key to happiness and satisfaction. However, this is not necessarily true. The field of positive psychology often emphasizes the profound effects of small incremental adjustments in our thoughts and actions. It's understandable if you feel overwhelmed by the prospect of change. It's human nature to fear what's unknown. However, remember that minor shifts in perspective or behavior can lead to significant improvements in your mental health. For instance, implementing mindfulness practices like deep breathing exercises or meditation into your daily routine can significantly reduce stress levels over time. Research has consistently shown how these minute modifications can bring about substantial changes in our emotional state and psychological resilience. One notable study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology discovered that individuals who engaged in small acts of kindness every day for 10 days reported increased levels of happiness compared to those who didn't participate. If you've previously overlooked these subtle yet powerful transformations, you're not alone. Many people do because they're not as obvious as drastic changes. However, once you start paying attention to them and realize their potential, it becomes much easier to accept them. Chapter 3. Identifying the Shifts Within. Identifying these internal changes isn't always straightforward, but it's an essential step towards better mental health. It's like finding the pieces of a complex puzzle. You're not just looking for obvious shifts in attitude or behavior, but subtle emotional and psychological fluctuations that occur within you. Let's talk about introspection, the act of self-observation. This is your primary tool in uncovering these shifts. Through introspection, you can explore your thoughts and feelings objectively, as if you're a scientist studying your own mind. Cognitive psychology supports this approach as it emphasizes on how our mental processes impact our emotions and behaviors. However, be careful not to fall into the trap of overanalysis or rumination, obsessively thinking about past events or future possibilities. This can lead to anxiety or depression, according to numerous studies in clinical psychology. Instead, aim for mindful reflection, being present and aware without judgment. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy suggests this strategy helps manage stress and prevent relapse in mood disorders. But remember, even with effective strategies like introspection and mindful reflection at hand, it's okay if some days are more challenging than others when trying to identify these internal shifts. Progress doesn't mean perfection. It means moving forward one step at a time. Chapter 4. The Influence of Internal Changes. It's crucial to understand how these internal changes can significantly impact your overall mental health. You're not alone in feeling this way. Many people struggle with recognizing the subtle shifts within themselves. These could be changes in mood, energy levels, or thought patterns that often go unnoticed but hold significant influence over our mental well-being. Our thoughts, according to cognitive behavioral theory, have a direct impact on our feelings and behaviors. As a result, even minor changes in your cognitions can have a significant impact on your emotions and actions. For example, if your thinking pattern changes negatively, you may experience feelings of sadness. Furthermore, neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections throughout life, implies that even minor internal changes can reshape our neural pathways, altering our emotional responses and behavior patterns. This means that if you've been feeling consistently low as a result of certain thought processes or habits, it doesn't mean you'll be there indefinitely. Your brain has the ability to adapt. However, acknowledging these shifts is only half the battle won. Addressing them effectively is equally important for maintaining optimal mental health. Therapeutic approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy are proven effective in managing such internal alterations by teaching us how to identify disruptive thoughts and equipping us with strategies to challenge them. Keep in mind that it's okay not to have all the answers right now. Understanding oneself is an ongoing process. Reaching out for professional help when necessary, on the other hand, is a sign of strength. It shows you're in control of your mental health journey. Chapter 5. Recognizing the Signs of Inner Transformation. You're on the right track if you've noticed changes in your behavior or feelings, as these can be signs of inner transformation. Often, such modifications are subtle and gradual, becoming noticeable only after they've significantly affected your mindset. It's not uncommon to experience shifts in preferences, attitudes, or even daily habits. These are all indicators that you're evolving internally. Understanding this process is part of being emotionally intelligent. According to psychological studies, an increase in self-awareness often leads to personal development and growth. You might find yourself more mindful of your reactions and emotions or have a deeper understanding of your motivations. If you're feeling differently about people or situations that used to evoke strong emotions in you, it's likely a sign that you're changing inside. Perhaps you're finding peace where there was once anger. Maybe you're letting go of old grudges or anxieties that no longer serve you well. Remember, though, transformation isn't always comfortable. Like the process of metamorphosis in nature, it can involve periods of intense discomfort before emerging into something new and beautiful. Change requires courage and resilience, but rest assured that this journey is worthwhile. Remember, too, there's no right way to change. Every person's path is unique, so don't compare yourself with others. Instead, focus on understanding and nurturing your own evolution. In conclusion, noticing shifts within yourself signals progress towards a healthier mindset and emotional state. Embrace these changes as they come. They're proof positive that you're growing stronger each day. Chapter 6. The Journey of Personal Evolution. Embarking on a journey of personal evolution isn't always easy, but it's definitely rewarding. You're challenging yourself to dig deep and expose the raw, unfiltered parts of your character in an effort to effect positive change. It's important to remember that self-development is not a horizontal line. There will be ups and downs, but every step you take, no matter how small, contributes significantly to your overall development. According to psychological theory, personal evolution entails the integration of various aspects of oneself into a cohesive whole. This process can often result in experiencing cognitive dissonance, which is the psychological discomfort felt when confronting conflicting beliefs or behaviors. It's perfectly normal and proof that you're growing. Research also emphasizes the importance of resilience during this transformative journey. The capacity for adaptation effectively in the face of adversity or significant sources of stress is referred to as resilience. Developing emotional resilience can lead to improved mental health, increased satisfaction in life, and better physical health outcomes. It's critical to focus not only on overcoming negative traits, but also on cultivating positive ones, like empathy, kindness, patience, and gratitude. These characteristics do not just make us feel good. They are also scientifically linked to our well-being. Remember, your journey is uniquely yours. It doesn't have a deadline, nor does it need validation from others. Stay patient with yourself because meaningful change takes time. Let's now transition into understanding how self-reflection becomes key in noticing these subtle shifts within yourselves. Chapter 7. Self-reflection. The key to noticing subtle shifts. Through self-reflection, you'll notice even the smallest changes in your journey of personal evolution. This process isn't always straightforward. It's often filled with subtle shifts and quiet transformations that might easily go unnoticed without a mindful approach. Don't worry, though. It's not about being perfect or reaching some preconceived ideal. Instead, it's about acknowledging where you're at right now and understanding how far you've come. Introspection is an incredibly powerful tool in psychology known for its capacity to facilitate personal growth and self-understanding. It allows us to objectively analyze our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, helping us recognize patterns that may be influencing our overall well-being. Evidence from neuroscience suggests that regular self-reflection can lead to positive neural changes in areas associated with introspection, like the prefrontal cortex. Mindfulness meditation and journaling, for example, encourage this process by strengthening these neural pathways. Start paying attention to those tiny victories. Did you control your anger during a heated conversation? Perhaps you managed to stick to your exercise routine despite feeling tired. These are all signs of personal evolution happening beneath the surface. Remember that change is seldom dramatic or immediate. More often than not, it's slow and steady, much like a flower blooming one petal at a time. But when observed with attention and patience through self-reflection, these incremental steps forward become apparent. As Carl Jung once noted, "Who looks outside dreams. Who look inside awakes." So keep looking inward. There's plenty of beautiful transformation waiting for you there. Chapter 8. The impact of subtle shifts on personal growth. It's crucial to understand that even the smallest adjustments in your behavior can have a significant impact on your personal growth. Every decision, no matter how insignificant it seems at the moment, could be a stepping stone towards becoming a better version of yourself. Research in the field of psychology indicates that self-improvement is often a process of tiny steps rather than giant leaps. You don't need to make dramatic changes all at once. In fact, trying to do so often leads to feelings of overwhelm and failure. Instead, focus on making one small change at a time. You might start by identifying an area where you want to see improvement. Perhaps you'd like to become more patient or develop better listening skills. From there, devise simple strategies for growth, such as practicing mindfulness during conversations or setting aside dedicated quiet time each day. Remember also that progress isn't always linear. There will inevitably be setbacks along the way. It's important not to let these deter you from your path forward. Instead, view them as opportunities for learning and reflection. In conclusion, subtle shifts are powerful tools for personal growth when approached with intention and patience. By being mindful about our behaviors and attitudes, we can effect meaningful change over time, not just within ourselves, but also in our relationships with others. Chapter 9. The role of mindfulness in detecting shifts. Mindfulness plays a key role in recognizing changes in our behavior and attitudes, which can lead to personal growth. You might not notice the subtle shifts occurring within you on a daily basis, but with mindfulness, you're able to cultivate awareness of these transitions. It's about being present and attentive to your thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment. To understand why mindfulness is so crucial for detecting shifts within yourself, we need to delve into the realm of cognitive psychology. When we are mindful, our prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for higher-order cognitive functions like self-awareness, becomes more active. This heightened activity aids us in becoming more attuned to the subtleties of our mental landscape. Many empirical studies have supported this notion too. In fact, research published in the Journal of Cognitive Enhancement found that participants who practiced mindfulness showed an increased ability to detect slight changes in their emotional state compared to those who didn't practice it. So how do you incorporate mindfulness into your everyday life? Start small. Take 5 minutes each day just to sit quietly and tune into what's happening inside you. Are there any emotions or thoughts lingering beneath the surface? Is there any tension held within your body? It may feel uncomfortable at first, but remember it's okay not to be okay all the time. Acceptance is part of this process. In essence, through practicing mindfulness regularly, you'll likely become more skilled at surfacing and understanding these moments of internal shift, paving way for continual personal growth. Chapter 10. Navigating through the process of change. Navigating change isn't always easy, but with a mindful approach, you're better equipped to handle the twists and turns of personal development. It's crucial to understand that these processes are not linear. They're complex and often unexpected. You may take 2 steps forward only to experience a step back. Don't be disheartened. This is a part of your growth path. The field of psychology offers us several coping mechanisms for managing change effectively. Cognitive behavioral strategies, for example, can help you reframe negative thoughts into more positive ones, enabling you to embrace change rather than resist it. Evidence from neuroscience also suggests that practicing mindfulness meditation can physically remodel your brain's structure and function, enhancing your ability to adapt to new circumstances. Remember that self-compassion plays an essential role in this journey too. When faced with setbacks or struggles during periods of transformation, it's natural to feel frustration or disappointment. Yet research shows that treating yourself kindly in those moments, as opposed to harsh self-criticism, leads to greater resilience and emotional well-being. Finally, don't underestimate the power of social support during times of change. Building strong relationships with others who encourage your growth can provide a safety net when changes become challenging or overwhelming. In summary, accept the non-linear nature of personal development, utilize cognitive strategies and mindfulness practices, cultivate self-compassion, and seek out supportive relationships as you navigate through the process of change. With these tools in hand, you'll be well prepared for the subtlest shifts within yourself. Chapter 11. The connection between subtle shifts and emotional health. You're likely to see improvements in your emotional health as you start recognizing and managing minor changes in your life. These subtle shifts, often unnoticed, can have a profound impact on your psychological well-being. Consider these changes to be the steady rumble of your internal emotional engine. They are always at work, influencing how you respond to the world around you and how you engage with it. It's possible that they'll present themselves to you as a fresh viewpoint on an old issue, or as a subtle shift in your daily routine that leaves you feeling more energized. It's crucial to understand that these shifts aren't necessarily negative or positive. They simply are. Psychologists refer to this as neutrality. Recognizing them is like learning the language of your own mind. It allows for greater self-awareness, which is fundamental for mental health. Research supports this too, indicating that increased self-awareness plays an essential role in managing stress and anxiety, while enhancing overall mood and quality of life. Neuroscientists have found connections between awareness of subtle internal states and activation in areas associated with empathy, compassion, and social awareness. So how do you tap into these subtle shifts? Begin by simply observing your feelings throughout the day without judgment or analysis. This practice is often referred to as mindfulness meditation. Remember, it's not about making drastic changes overnight, but rather nurturing a gradual process towards better emotional health through understanding yourself better. It may seem daunting initially, but trust me, it will be worth it. Chapter 12. Embracing the Shifts, a Step Towards Self-Improvement. Embracing these changes, big or small, is a crucial step towards self-improvement. It's okay to feel overwhelmed when facing the unknown, but remember that change is an inevitable part of life. You are continuously evolving, and every shift within yourself provides new perspectives and opportunities for growth. You might wonder how subtle shifts relate to your overall well-being. Well, according to psychological science, such changes can significantly impact your emotional health. The concept of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, supports this claim. When you actively embrace change and stimulate your mind with new experiences or learning, you're essentially rewiring your brain for resilience and adaptability. Self-improvement isn't a destination. It's a journey that requires patience and acceptance of oneself. Understand that it's okay to have setbacks along the way. They're all part of the process. And remember, just as Rome wasn't built in a day, personal growth doesn't happen overnight either. So don't be hard on yourself if progress seems slow. Positive transformation often begins subtly before manifesting more visibly over time. As renowned psychologist Carl Rogers posited in his theory of self-concept, positive self-regard plays a vital role in personal development and mental wellness. Chapter 13. Subtle Shifts in Perspective, a Paradigm Shift. It's remarkable how minor adjustments in perspective can lead to a paradigm shift. You may not have realized it, but every time you challenge your existing beliefs or step outside your comfort zone, you're making strides towards self-improvement. Subtle shifts in perspective are powerful catalysts for change and growth. They allow you to reframe your experiences, alter your mindset, and cultivate more adaptive coping strategies. As cognitive behavioral theory suggests, the way we interpret events significantly impacts our emotional reactions and behaviors. Let's consider an everyday example. Imagine getting constructive criticism at work. You could view this as a negative judgment of your abilities, leading to feelings of inadequacy and defensiveness. Alternatively, by subtly shifting your perspective, you might see it as valuable feedback that helps improve performance, fostering resilience and motivation. Current research substantiates the transformative power of such shifts. Studies in positive psychology indicate that reframing challenges as opportunities can enhance emotional well-being and life satisfaction. However, these shifts aren't always easy to make on your own. Sometimes professional support is beneficial. Therapists trained in cognitive restructuring techniques can guide you through this process empathetically while respecting your individual journey. Remember that even small alterations in how you perceive situations can have profound effects on your mental health and overall happiness. It's not about ignoring reality or minimizing difficulties. It's about choosing a viewpoint that empowers rather than diminishes you. Chapter 14. The Role of Subtle Shifts in Psychological Well-Being. Let's delve deeper into how these minor changes in viewpoint can greatly impact your psychological well-being. The power of subtle shifts has been backed by scientific research, showing that small adjustments in perspective can lead to significant improvements in mental health. You see, perspective is a powerful tool. It shapes how you perceive the world around you and influences how you respond to situations. A slight shift can help turn a challenge into an opportunity or transform stress into motivation. Cognitive psychologists refer to this as cognitive reframing, altering our thoughts to change our emotional response. When you start seeing things from a new angle, it's like switching on a light in a previously dark room. You're able to see opportunities that were previously hidden under shadows of doubt and fear. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or denying negative aspects. Instead, it's about finding the silver lining even when the clouds seem overwhelmingly gray. The evidence supporting these claims isn't just anecdotal either. Research consistently demonstrates the effectiveness of cognitive behavioral techniques, like reframing, for treating various psychological disorders such as depression and anxiety. Remember, though, this isn't about making drastic changes overnight. It's about tiny steps towards perceiving your life differently, one thought at a time. Every journey starts with a single step, right? So why not take that first step? With this understanding of the role subtle shifts play in enhancing our psychological well-being, let us now move forward to unveil the mystery behind inner shifts. Chapter 15. Unveiling the mystery of inner shifts. We'll now uncover the enigma of inner shifts and how they can profoundly influence our psychological well-being. Inner shifts, those subtle changes in our thoughts, feelings, or behaviors, often occur unnoticed. However, they're pivotal to your emotional health. You might experience an inner shift as a sudden insight or realization that alters your perspective on a situation. These cognitive transformations are not mere fleeting thoughts. They're evidence-based phenomena studied extensively in psychology. A study by Beeman, 2014, demonstrated enhanced neural activity in individuals experiencing such insightful moments. Such changes can also manifest as emotional shifts. Those profound moments when you transition from feeling anxious to calm or from sadness to joy. Psychologists call this effect regulation, a critical factor for maintaining mental health according to gross emotion regulation theory, 1998. You see, being aware of these seemingly insignificant alterations helps you manage stressors more effectively and contributes towards increased resilience. The behavioral aspect isn't left out either. Even minute adjustments in your actions can reflect substantial internal changes. You've probably heard of the butterfly effect, which states that small causes can have large, long-term effects. That's precisely what we're talking about here. Recognize these inner shifts as key components of your psychological growth process, signs of adaptability and maturity rather than random fluctuations. So next time you notice a slight change with yourself, embrace it, because you aren't just changing. You're evolving psychologically. It's all part of the fascinating journey towards improved mental well-being. Chapter 16. The Silent Revolution. The Subtle Shifts Within. You're now delving into the silent revolution, an exploration of those minute internal changes that often go unnoticed but carry significant impact on your psychological evolution. These subtle shifts in thought processes, emotional responses, and perceptions can profoundly influence your overall well-being and self-concept. Known as neuroplasticity in psychological terms, this is your brain's incredible ability to rewire itself throughout life. It's how you adapt to new experiences or recover from traumas. While it may seem like you're stuck in certain patterns of behavior or thinking, know that change isn't just possible, it's inherent in your being. Evidence-based research has shown time and again that mindfulness practices such as meditation can facilitate these internal shifts. By focusing on the present moment without judgment, you're cultivating a mental space for introspection where these subtle transformations occur. Yet remember, this process isn't about striving for some idealized version of yourself. Rather, it involves acknowledging that growth is continuous and doesn't necessarily happen overnight. You'll have moments when old habits resurface or progress, seem stagnant. But don't be too hard on yourself. After all, these fluctuations are part of the human experience. In essence, embracing the silent revolution within means recognizing these delicate ebbs and flows as integral parts of personal growth, not as barriers to overcome, but stepping stones leading towards greater self-understanding and resilience. Chapter 17. Harnessing the Power of Subtle Internal Shifts. So far, We've delved into the quiet revolution of subtle internal shifts. These micro-changes can have a profound impact on your mental health and overall well-being. Now, let's pivot to how you can harness these shifts for your benefit. Understanding the power within yourself is critical. It's not about massive transformations or drastic life changes. Rather, it's about recognizing the small adjustments in attitudes, perspectives, or behaviors that can collectively contribute to significant personal growth. Imagine being able to fine-tune your emotional responses or adjust your perspective on challenging situations with just a few subtle tweaks. That's what leveraging these internal shifts allows you to do. It places you back in the driver's seat of your life. Psychological research affirms this approach too. One of the most evidence-based therapeutic approaches, cognitive behavioral therapy, emphasizes making minor changes in thoughts and behaviors to boost mental health outcomes. Remember that change doesn't happen overnight. It's an ongoing process requiring patience and understanding towards oneself. However, by becoming more mindful of these tiny internal shifts and learning how to navigate them effectively, you're setting yourself up for success on this journey. In essence, utilizing the power of subtle internal changes means embracing a more self-empowered mindset, where every choice matters and even minor adjustments can spark significant progress. Whether it be improving resilience, fostering positivity, or enhancing emotional intelligence, harnessing these subtle shifts could be your first step towards achieving those objectives with grace and strength. Chapter 18. Subtle shifts and their impact on decision-making. When it comes to decision-making, even the smallest internal changes can significantly influence your choices and their outcomes. You might not realize it, but subtle shifts in your emotions or mindset can profoundly affect the decisions you make. It's a fascinating aspect of human psychology that's been backed up by extensive research. Consider the following example. When you're feeling positive emotions like joy or excitement, you're more likely to take calculated risks. Conversely, if you're feeling low or anxious, you'll probably be more cautious and risk-averse in your decision-making process. These emotional states subconsciously shape how we perceive opportunities and threats. It's also important to understand cognitive biases, which subtly alter our decision-making abilities without us realizing it. Confirmation bias, one where we favor information that confirms our existing beliefs, is one such example impacting our judgment, subtly yet significantly. Don't worry, awareness is half the battle won here. By being mindful of these internal shifts and understanding their influence on your decision-making process, you can better control your reactions to different situations. Remember, these subtle nuances within yourself aren't negatives. They're simply part of being human. Embrace them as integral components of who you are while acknowledging their role in shaping your choices. In conclusion, your feelings matter more than you think they do. Don't underestimate the power of these subtle internal shifts. They have significant sway over every choice you make. So listen attentively to what's going on inside. You might find yourself making wiser decisions as a result. Chapter 19. The subtle shifts, catalysts for personal innovation. It's these small internal changes that can spark personal innovation, pushing you to approach problems differently and find novel solutions. You might not even notice them at first, but subtle shifts in your thoughts and emotions can greatly influence how you tackle life's challenges. It's about those moments when you step back from a situation, reassess it under a different light, and suddenly see things more clearly. Psychologically speaking, what we're referring to here is cognitive flexibility, the ability to adapt one's thinking in response to new information or changing demands. Cognitive flexibility is key for creativity and problem-solving because it allows for the generation of unique ideas by enabling the mind to jump freely between different concepts. Now, let's take this idea into the realm of scientific research. Studies have shown that engaging in certain mindfulness practices, such as meditation, can enhance our cognitive flexibility. This means that by simply taking some time each day to quiet your mind and focus on your breath, you're actually strengthening your capacity for innovative thinking. In fact, a 2012 study published in the journal Psychological Science found that brief mindfulness training significantly improved cognitive flexibility among its participants. The researchers concluded that better attention control, brought about by mindfulness, can boost our ability to think outside the box and come up with fresh ideas. Chapter 20. The Subtle Shifts, Unseen Levers of Change. Having explored the concept of subtle shifts as catalysts for personal innovation, you're beginning to understand how even minuscule changes in your habits or mindset can trigger significant personal growth. However, it's important now to delve deeper into this topic and focus on the unseen levers of change, those internal mechanisms that operate behind the scenes within our psyche. These invisible levers are often overlooked because they rest beneath our conscious awareness. Yet, they hold immense power in driving transformation. In psychology, these might include cognitive biases, unconscious beliefs, or deeply ingrained behavioral patterns that subtly influence our actions without us being fully aware. Think about a deep-seated belief you've carried since childhood. You may not actively think about it every day, yet it still guides your behavior and shapes your perspective of the world around you. These hidden elements within ourselves can act as powerful drivers for change when we begin to recognize them and consciously adjust them to better serve our goals. Scientifically speaking, evidence-based approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy have shown success in identifying and modifying such unseen levers. By becoming more aware of negative thought patterns or maladaptive behaviors that typically go unnoticed, you can begin to implement mindful changes leading towards personal growth. Remember, though, self-awareness is key here. The first step toward leveraging these unseen forces within yourself is recognizing their existence and acknowledging their influence over your life decisions. Only then can these subtle shifts truly become effective tools for profound self-improvement. Chapter 21. Transformative Moments, the Outcome of Subtle Shifts. Transformative moments often emerge as a direct result of recognizing and adjusting those unseen levers we've just discussed. These shifts within ourselves, although subtle, can have profound impacts on our lives. This isn't mere speculation. It's supported by cognitive behavioral psychology. You're likely familiar with the concept of light bulb moments, sudden instances of understanding or realization. However, these events don't occur in isolation. They are typically the culmination of small, incremental changes and insights that build over time. It's like you're constructing a puzzle without knowing what the final picture will be until that last piece fits into place. Remember that self-awareness is key in this process. You need to recognize your thought patterns, both conscious and unconscious, before you can begin to adjust them for improvement. It might seem daunting at first, but rest assured, you're already equipped with everything necessary for positive change. The ability of your brain to reorganize itself by forming fresh neural networks throughout life is known as neuroplasticity. In psychological terms, these transformative experiences could be described as metacognitive insights, realizations about your own thinking processes that allow you to manage them more effectively. They offer opportunities for growth and development on personal and professional levels alike. So remember, while it may not always feel like it, every effort towards self-improvement counts, no matter how small it seems at the time. These subtle shifts within yourself serve as catalysts for transformational moments, turning points where newfound understanding brings about meaningful change in your life. You've made it this far, and that's impressive. Here's a fact to ponder. 80% of life's defining moments occur by age 35. That stirs the pot, doesn't it? But remember, those subtle shifts within you have the power to redefine your life at any age. Be confident in your ability to adapt and grow. After all, Personal transformation isn't an end goal. It's an ongoing journey of discovery and innovation. Thanks for reading or listening to this from Audiobooks Office.